I'm gay. To any of my friends that I haven't seen over summer vacation, I'd like to ask, how have you been this summer? And the answer should be like an essay. Now, is this what I expect? It should be. Is this what I'm getting? No, not at all. And you see, that's the problem. Expectations are too high. Why do you think the YouTube channel hasn't been active since, like, what was it? Sunflower seeds? No. Well, yeah, that was like the last real video. And I am simply just out of ideas at this point. When you write a whole show, all of your time and effort goes into the show. So I wrote the whole show, and now I have nothing left. I am but a husk, simply following orders. And maybe that's why I learned music. Because it's already there on the page. Learning music has been obviously the most fun thing to do over summer vacation. Hanging out with friends, yeah, that's cool. But like, when you're hanging out with the same 5 friends every day, do y'all just have nothing going on in your life? Does anyone else matter? These are questions that I'd like to know the answer to. But since I don't have any answers myself, I only have questions. Simple questions, like, what did you do today? What was the last book that you read? My answer to that one, I have an answer for that one. The last book I finished was Bryan Cranston's memoir, A Life in Parts. But the real answer is the autobiography of Gucci Mane. Another thing that somebody would ask, where have you been? Have you traveled at all? Again, my answer would be no, I haven't. Yet. Another question would be, have you enjoyed your summer? To which my answer would be an astounding maybe. It didn't start off too hot. July was kind of okay. And then August happened. And that's pretty much how summer works. Are you ready for college? Yes. Mainly just because college is going to be so much easier for me than high school was. Mainly just because I'm actually going to care and I'm going to pay attention. But when you choke to death, you kind of just have to endure it, especially if no one knows CPR, which I think might be a thing happening. Because I don't know CPR, and I don't think any of my friends know proper CPR technique, and that kind of scares me. Because if I'm choking, the last thing I want somebody to do is come up behind me and start thrusting improperly. You know, Gucci Mane has a lot to offer in his book, lots of wisdom. He talked a lot about drugs, which was pretty cool, and he talked about the first time he got robbed, which led me to remember about the time that I got robbed out of a relationship. It's actually happened a few times, not gonna hold you, but at the same time, they were also all completely my fault. And why? Well, I'm not going to explain in detail, but I'll just say it's because I don't know how to talk to women. Here's an honest review of Barbie.
Let the top down and let your hair.
This week, me and my buddies, we went and saw Barbie. Now, initially, from what I've heard, the movie has just been nothing short of a 10. It's perfect, you know. maybe a little heavy on women are people, but other than that, I haven't heard much. And from what I watched in the movie, it's super heavy on the women are people debate. And that's just something I have to disagree with. While I think women exist, are they people is quite a line. It's quite a line to cross. And I think what marks a true man or a woman is not their age, but it's their maturity. Okay? Now, in Barbie, they're not very mature. They're very much just cognitive, real life definitions of what children do to their Barbies. Now my first experience with the Barbie, I believe the first thing I did was try to strip it. And this was like pre-K. So, keep that in mind of where I stand and who I am as a person. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, when you see Barbie and when you see Ken and how he brings male propaganda back to the world and how it just shakes everything up, at a certain point, I just started to hate the guy. And I think that's what the movie wanted. It wants me to hate my fellow men. And you know what? That kind of hurt me. But I had to accept it. Quite frankly, it's because I was watching a movie. And those things never happened or never existed. Now, here's one thing that messed me up about Barbie is in the scene. This is kind of spoilers. So if you haven't seen Barbie, I don't care. Spoiler warning. There's a scene in Barbie where the Kens are about to brawl, but instead they share a song, and so all the Kens are just singing. And it's like I lost my mind because at a certain point I just didn't know what was happening in the movie anymore, and that kind of just like threw me off of everything. So now I think I'm still trying to mentally recover from that too, because that was huge. That was something that I didn't see happening, which I'm kind of okay with now. But at the time that it happened, I literally lost my mind, and you can ask the other 3 people that were in that theater. Yeah, this guy was losing his marbles. But I still can't pinpoint why, and I think this is what I'm trying to discover by talking through this. Maybe the reason why is because I am a shallow husk of a man that's just waiting to bloom. What if I'm still a boy like the rest of the Kens? Because they're not men in the slightest. Because they think that horses are the cool part, when really, in this day and age, it's automobiles, it's cars, it's Mustangs. Everybody has a starter Mustang. That's the car that people get when they get into cars. Okay? Then you'll go on to your Nissans and I don't really think you can peak farther than Nissan when it comes to being a car nerd, but that is also like the most basic. But I don't know. This isn't my fight. But I think all the Kens are still boys, and they're still maturing, and they still have time to mature, because Ryan Gosling Ken went to the real world, and he saw how men were doing things, and he's like, I want to be a man. And I think the whole point of the movie is just to be like, no, you don't want to be anything, you want to be yourself. Because quite frankly, at the end of the movie, Barbie doesn't even want to be a woman. She doesn't want to be Barbie. She wants to be a working class human. She wants to serve the country in the way that matters the most. In an office. I lied. She doesn't get a job. She has a colonoscopy at the end. That's so weird. I think that's pretty cool, though. I think that's cool. I wish they would have put that scene in the movie. No, I don't. But if I were to give Barbie a rating, I'd have to give it a 7 out of 10. Will Ferrell was just Lord Business from Lego Movie, which is a far superior movie. If I'm giving Barbie a 7, then I have to give Lego Movie like a 9. Or maybe even a 10, because the longevity and the comedy of that movie still really holds up. So if you're bickering a debate on whether to watch Oppenheimer or Barbie next, If you haven't seen it already, that is. My pick is to watch the Lego movie. Honestly, just rewatch Community. Again, please, I need more people to talk to about the show and make references. Everyone says they're going to start a show that I recommend, and then they never do. And when they finish it, they just don't want to talk about it. That's about it. If I sound like I'm about to cry, it's because Barbie. It didn't really make me cry, but I could see how it can make somebody cry. Alright, see you. You know, I've always wondered what it would take to make these kinds of videos. And it's not really that hard. It's just kind of tedious. But at the same time, watching it back is really hilarious. Especially this ending clip with me roller skating at the end. It's so funny watching people do stuff fast. Oh man, you look so stupid. Alright, bye.